What's going on, everybody? This is Travis from Candid at the Movies, and today I am here to review the brand new A24 film directed by Alex Garland, Men. Now, Men stars Jessie, Buckley, Rory Kinnear, and a whole lot of more of Rory Kinnear. This movie is basically about Jessie Buckley's character, who, after going through a traumatic moment in her life, decides to go to the English countryside to get away for 2 weeks. And she meets Rory Kinnear's character, but there's something off about him. He seems nice, and then she starts noticing him more and more around the whole town. Just different people with his face, and then it starts to look like everyone is basically coming to get her or blame her for something. And you basically figure out what is going on with that movie. And I can honestly say this movie is something that we need in this world right now, because it touches on subjects that a lot of people find touchy or they don't really bring up like that. Now, before I go into that, I'll go ahead and tell you basically that I thought this film was really good. The cinematography in this movie is beautiful. There were so many shots in this film that it stayed on just because it knew that it was just something special to look at. I like Alex Garland's stuff, especially Ex Machina. Annihilation was good as well. This does stand out with his films, but I don't think it's his best one. I'm still trying to figure out, would I put this above or below Annihilation? I love the cast. Jessie Buckley was amazing in her role. She commanded the screen, and I love that about her. Rory, with all the roles he was playing in the film, even if you kept saying, oh, it's just him, every role he was playing was just different. Whether it was the pastor, whether it was the policeman, whether it was Gregory, every character just had something about them that stood out, and I love that about the film. It was so cool. The story was very interesting, and touching on and speaking on the subjects I brought up earlier, it really talked about how women treat grief, how they deal with it, how men respond to it, how men deal with toxic masculinity tropes that go within the church, where you're basically having a man seem superior to a woman. And those are things people are bringing up more in conversation now, but you normally don't hear these subjects because they're considered by some people taboo. I like seeing people make you really think in a horror movie, because so many horror movies are mainly set up for just slashing, kill, murder. This movie was more about how you feel about certain subjects that are going on in life every day. It is a monster in this film, but once you get the allegories of the movie, the monster makes perfect sense. And I cannot deny this movie for the ideas that Alex Garland showed. They came through amazing, and the CGI in the film was really good. But I'm not going to say this movie doesn't have its issues. My biggest issue was not the lack of horror that was in the movie. It is just that when you got the horror towards the end, it ramped up. It was ramping up so much to where if you were just sitting there watching everything that's going on at the end, you didn't get a break. You just went full on nastiness. You're just like, oh, okay, it's done. Now we're going back more. So if you're not prepared for stuff like that, this movie will not be for you. If you don't like thinking when it comes to movies without them blatantly telling you what's going on, this movie's not going to be for you. I will go ahead and admit that. As much as I love this movie, I can't say I would go back in a rush to see it the next day like I have other previous A24 films. I can honestly say this movie is going to be a conversation piece. I got my words together. This will be a conversation piece with anyone that likes having deep thought towards movies, how they bring up personal stuff that goes on in everybody's life, and let alone in relationships. of things that you can say, things that you cannot say, and things that basically make you feel like you're gaslighting a person, let alone putting something you're going to do onto them for guilt. By all means, this movie was definitely something I really enjoyed this weekend. If you like horror, that is thinking horror, by all means, please check this movie out. But my final grade for this movie, I would give it a solid B-. I feel that the movie, as good as I'm giving praise for, it's really good, but I can see where general audiences are not going to like it at all. Some people are going to feel like it's very slow. It's only an hour and 40 minutes, but the story, in all honesty, is straightforward. By all means, if you've seen Men, let me know how you felt about it. Comment down below. Let us know what you felt about Men. Let us know if you didn't care for it all, or if you loved it, or if you liked the metaphors that they talked about in this movie. By all means, my name is Travis. Thank you for subscribing more than anything, guys. We love each and every one of you. We're going to have more stuff coming out for you very soon, y'all. Peace.